What's up, guys? Ballin with Blizzy back with another video. We are right in the heart of fantasy football season with games kicking off later this week. And I want to talk about one of the more underrated aspects you need to know and you need to make sure you have on your fantasy football team. And those are handcuffs. And today I'm not going to be talking about guys who have a standalone role like David Montgomery or Jordan Mason. No, I'm talking about pure handcuffs, guys that can go for $50, $60 or more on waiver wires each week if the guy in front of them has an injury that you may want to stash right now. So let's jump into it. Number one for me, Zach Charbonnet. I think that goes without saying. Every time Kenneth Walker's injured, Zach Charbonnet rates out really highly, top 5 to top 8 projection. Over the course of his career, when he's starting in place of Kenneth Walker, he's averaging more than 17 PPR fantasy points per game. He does it all. He plays third downs. He catches the ball. He runs between the tackles. He gets all the touches. He's a goal line monster. He's going to get the job done. He's clearly, historically, and this year, I think, the number one handcuff if Kenneth Walker gets injured. Number two for me, Will Shipley, a new name for many of you. If you've been doing best ball drafts, you're probably very familiar with him. If not, if you're just a redraft guy, probably haven't heard of him. Will Shipley, the backup running back for the Philadelphia Eagles, second-year player. They invested draft capital into him last year. This offseason, they let Kenneth Gainwell go, who's been a trusted number 2 running back in that system. But more importantly, Philadelphia, number 1 rush team last year. Saquon Barkley had 484 touches combined, playoffs and regular season last year. You look at that historically, those guys often tend to break down the very next year. Will Shipley is going to be able to run behind the number 1 offensive line in Philadelphia and a team that's going to be playing from ahead a lot because they have such a good defense and they have ball control. So if Will Shipley is the starter for any games that Saquon Barkley misses, I think it's going to be wheels up and he's going to be a guy in heavy demand in your fantasy league. So stash him on your bench right now. Number 3, Tyler Algier. I think it goes without saying, if Bijan Robinson gets injured, Tyler Algier is a guy they trust. He's been in the system. And more importantly, again, I like to bring up Zach Robinson when I talk about the Falcons, but he's from that McVay tree, and they like that one back heavy workload. Bijan, we saw down the stretch, he just ran away with the job. He was getting so many touches. He was a top 3 fantasy scorer at the running back position at the end of last year. If he goes down, I think Tyler Algier is going to fill in at least 80 to 85% of the workload. They don't have any really recognizable names beyond him on the depth chart. So Tyler Algier is my number 3 handcuff for 2025. Number 4, Brian Robinson. Maybe it's too low. Obviously, you guys are familiar. They just traded for Brian Robinson in San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan has a remarkable history of turning no-name backs into, gold mines. Brian Robinson, he specifically went out and got. So I think he has full confidence in Brian Robinson if the injury-prone Christian McCaffrey were to go down this year. Shanahan already said Garendo's going to be the number 3. Brian Robinson's going to be the clear number 2, which makes sense when you give up future draft capital. I believe it was a 6th-round pick to acquire Brian Robinson. Zone scheme fits him perfectly in San Francisco. I think if Christian McCaffrey goes down, you're clearly going to be looking at around a top 5, top 6 projection every week for Brian Robinson. Number 5 on the list, may not have heard of him, rookie out of Kansas State in Indianapolis. It's going to be DJ Giddens. Last year, Jonathan Taylor, in the games that he played when he was healthy, played 707 out of 885 snaps. The Colts just believe in that workhorse role for their guys. Jonathan Taylor played 80% of those snaps last year. I think DJ Giddens has already won that backup job. He was playing ahead of Tyler Goodson in the preseason. Once Goodson went down with an injury, they obviously invested draft capital into DJ Giddens, so they believe in him, quite a bit in my estimation. So he's my number 5 handcuff. I think people are going to be running to the waiver wires to pick him up if Jonathan Taylor gets an injury. So pick him up now. Make sure you have him on your bench. So those are my top 5 handcuffs. Very valuable stashes right now in your redraft leagues. Get those guys on your bench. At least get a couple of them on your bench before it's too late. If you have a handcuff that I missed, again, not counting the David Montgomerys, not counting the Jordan Masons, but just pure handcuff guys who will just have value skyrocket but don't have value right now, let me know who you think it is in the comments below. Talk to you guys soon.